Welcome to DC Daily. I'm Hector Navarro here with Whitney Moore, and today we have a very talented comic book artist and writer and living legend and DC royalty with us. You know her from work on Harley Quinn and countless other DC projects. Please welcome to the show, Amanda Connor. Hi.
Yay! Hi, Amanda.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Well, we are incredibly thrilled. You are DC royalty. And the first question we have for you today, Amanda, is how are you doing in quarantine?
I am doing surprisingly well because, freelance comic book artist is perfect for that kind of thing. I'm at home all day anyway, just drawing in my little studio. So quarantine doesn't feel that much different.
That's echoing a lot of the answers we've gotten so far from artists and writers. Basically the same. Have you picked up any new hobbies while you've been spending time at home?
Well, I did. I actually rearranged some of the cabinets in my kitchen. So I don't know if that counts as a hobby, but I also rediscovered making beef stroganoff, which I used to make. My mom taught me to make that when I was a teenager, and it's delicious. But it's a little too delicious. So I'm
Okay.
Can you put some in a package and mail it to us?
Please, yes, that sounds amazing.
If I can figure out a way to do it, I will.
That sounds like a really great use of time at home. I love that. Amanda, have you been going back and rereading or reading any DC books at all? Are you using this time to do any comic book catching up? Right
now, I'm working on the Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey Black Label book.
Yep.
So it's, between that and beef stroganoff, I don't have as much time as I would like to have to go back and, through some of my collection and reread all of my old books. Jimmy is better at finishing his work. My husband, Jimmy Palmiotti, he's really good at finishing his homework fast. So he gets to do, he gets to read all of his collection and stuff. But I'm rereading stuff when I have a Birds of Prey question. I'll be like, would Huntress do that? And then I'll have to go back to some of the old stories and sort of make sure that that personalities and stuff, the characters stay in character.
Mm-hmm.
HBO Max is releasing its To the Max comic series. It features 3 stories of regular people becoming heroes, and you did a cover. Can you tell us a little bit about Olivia?
Yes, I did the Olivia cover, and she's fun. She's actually a comedian. And she works in Las Vegas, so I got to draw a lot of Las Vegas stuff, which is always fun,
Awesome.
Just crazy fun. And she was just a really fun character to draw because she's more of an every woman, than the standard supermodel, 9 foot tall comic book characters. And she's really cool. And I got to have fun with her character. Even though it was one cover, I try to fit as much fun stuff into, one cover as I can, sort of Norman Rockwell it and see if I can jam a lot of
It's a fantastic cover. You're the perfect artist for that cover. When we look at the cover, I go, I know exactly who this character is. This is going to be such a fun story. This is great. And the story itself, apparently there are a lot of fun Easter eggs. Is there any that we should be on the lookout for?
If I told you, then it wouldn't be an Easter egg.
That's true. That's true.
You wouldn't have the fun of hunting for it.
Yeah, people forget Easter egg means that implies Easter egg hunt. That's what that implies, is we're supposed to go on the hunt for them.
Well, I'm excited to root through them. I feel like it usually takes me a couple reads to get Easter eggs, so I respect that you won't give us an answer, but I want one.
It takes me so, like every once in a while I'll read something that I love for the 4th time and I'll be like, oh, look at that. I never saw that.
It's what makes rereading it so great. But let's talk about Harley Quinn finally. Your comic book run is iconic. It's one of our faves to talk about. And I would love to know, when you and Jimmy Palmiotti create stories together, what is your approach to the character?
Our approach to the character is sort of let her do what she's going to do. I mean, on a technical level, what we do is we sort of, we go out and get something to eat or stay in and eat something and put our heads together and figure out where we're going to go with her story. And then, once that gels, Jimmy puts it all down on paper, and then I start drawing it, and then I'll start tweaking the dialogue, and then maybe rearranging some stuff here and there. But the thing about Harley is sometimes Harley wants to do what Harley wants to do, and you have plans for her, and then she changes them on you. So that's how we approach Harley.
Do you have?
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Do you have any specific examples of you guys plotting something and then deciding, you know what, Harley wouldn't do that, or she would do this, and then you guys going, yeah, you're right, it needs to be this way? Do you have any examples of that?
I can't think of a particular example, but every once in a while you would have like, well, Harley does this, and then you'd be like, well, she needs to be a little bit more, how do I say it? Like you don't know what to expect from her, so you just have to take her and then just completely go off to the left with her. And I'm going to think of a good example about 10 minutes after we're through with this.
Exactly. Well, we could just add this to another list of Easter egg hunts. Readers can go and read your guys' run and decide maybe this is one of those moments. Amanda, what is your favorite part about drawing Harley Quinn?
My favorite part with any comic book character is facial expressions. That is my top, like, number one love, art-wise thing to do. I love it so much. And with Harley, she wears all of her emotions on her sleeve. So you know exactly how she's feeling, and she can go from just like heartbroken and her makeup running down her face because she's crying to just overjoyed in a matter of 30 seconds. So that's one of the things that I love about drawing Harley. Also, the unexpectedness of Harley is one of the
I love hearing from writers and artists that, especially with Harley Quinn, they allow themselves to be surprised by this character, because you're right, Harley is so unpredictable, and I love that that is a method for writing and drawing her as a character, because it makes so much sense that you would just allow yourself to be like, oh, what would she do? Let her take us on a ride, it really comes through with the art and with the writing.
Yeah, we let her write the story.
Yeah. Well, earlier this year, you and Jimmy began the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey comic book series, and I'd love to know what it is like creating a Black Label story.
It's really fun. We're allowed to say naughty words in the Black Label book, so that's a big difference than for what. Although I gotta say, not being allowed to say dirty words in a book makes you really, really creative about what you're allowed to say. And I would make up, phrases that Harley would say, and they weren't one of the 7 dirty words that you can't say on TV. But they would end up sounding fouler than the actual swear word that they were replacing. So.
And for DC Universe, you and Jimmy both did the Ask Dr. Harley Quinn column. How fun was it to answer fan questions as Harley Quinn?
That actually was really fun, because, for a long time I always, I think everybody's like, I would make a very good Dear Abby, and not everybody would, but everybody, I think probably most people think, yeah, I could do that. And it was actually really fun because you could pick some of the questions and just do like a smart ass answer and, just, be sort of goofy about it. But every once in a while there would be somebody that needed like something, substantial, like a substantial answer. And, we're definitely not a replacement for, therapy, but, we hope that we can answer something that'll make somebody either feel a little bit better or think or maybe try something different that might help them through something.
That's some of my
favorite
favorite
for
stuff.
Therapy.
Yay, exactly. That's some of my favorite stuff to do with Harley Quinn, is when that amazing, chaotic character kind of drops little nuggets of her therapist or doctor background in the midst of the chaos. It's so great. So hooray for therapy. Yeah.
Well, this has obviously been such a huge year for Harley Quinn, from the animated series on DC Universe to the Birds of Prey movie. We cannot get enough of Harley Quinn. So I want to know from you, what is it like seeing Harley Quinn everywhere lately?
it's fun. It's one of those things, you'll be just like walking around somewhere and you'll see somebody in a Harley shirt and be like, you know, or you'll just see something, very Harley-ish, a car with like Harley bumper stickers or something, it's really fun to see how it's permeated the culture. It's just so it's like very exciting, and you always notice it when you see it. And the movies and everything, it's so fun to see it brought to life.
Amanda, you've also got a new book coming out in June, The Astonishing Art of Amanda Connor. What is it like seeing so much of your work in one collection?
Yes, in fact, I got an advanced copy.
Oh,
so this is what it looks like.
That cover's so cool.
That is nice.
Reflecting right now. And I got to actually draw myself. This is
cool.
Me. Actually, this is me maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. But it's really exciting to have a book like that come. It's incredibly flattering too to have DC go, hey, you want to have a book about you? And you're like, sure. So,
well, do you have a piece of art in a book that you are most proud of?
I have a huge place in my heart for the Silk Spectre thing that I did with Darwyn Cooke, the Silk Spectre story. And I think it's just because I enjoyed working with Darwyn so much on it. And the Supergirl story, the Wednesday comic Supergirl story that I did with Jimmy, I read it again and I'm like, oh man, I enjoyed this so much. I would do something like this again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's so hard to pick a favorite.
It is. It's really hard. I was looking at it before though, and I think maybe my favorite is the Harley Quinn where she finds the genie, the be careful what you wish for story, because I got to be as silly as I wanted to be. It's like it really, we stretched the boundaries of goofiness and silliness with it. And I just had so much fun doing that book. And there's like one, and I got to draw Power Girl in it too. Power Girl is another one that's really close to my heart. I love Power Girl. She's one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on it a little bit about your incredible collaborations that you've been able to be a part of. One of my favorites is that work that you did on Silk Spectre with Darwyn Cooke. And I love that Darwyn wouldn't do the book unless he could get to work with you. Can you tell us one thing that you loved about working with Darwyn?
I think when he would call me up at like 10 o'clock in the morning and he would be full of ideas. And go, okay, this is what we need to work. This is how we're going to approach this. It was really great. And I think one of the most unexpected thing about it is that he wanted to bring me in on this story because he wanted the perspective of a 16-year-old girl, but he had never been a 16-year-old girl. Right. And I can actually say I've been one once. But surprisingly, we started like grabbing onto characters that we weren't expecting to grab onto. Like he actually did write a lot of the Silk Spectre's Laurie's viewpoint, and I ended up doing a lot of like some of the other characters, and I never expected to like be really in tune with that viewpoint, you know. So yeah, like not expecting stuff was one of the funnest things about working on that project.
I love the character of Silk Spectre. I think she's amazing. If you haven't had a chance to see that new HBO series, she is phenomenal in that.
Yes.
It is. Have you had a chance to see it? She just, oh my God.
I was so excited. I was like, look who it is. It's like, I know who that is, when before you weren't sure, you're like, wait a minute, I know who she's going to be. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. That was.
The only thing that like threw me on it is that she didn't have her little like her little beauty mark.
The beauty mark. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, I think they forgot to put that on.
Oh man.
I was just thinking about that show this morning where I want more, but also I don't know if I could handle it right now.
It is heavy. It's so heavy.
It's so heavy, and it was such a great sort of one and done season. But I'm so glad that that her character came out the way that she did in that show. I love everything that everybody's been able to do comic book wise, and then with the new show for Laurie, she's fantastic. So yeah.
Yes. Well, last but not least, Amanda, do you have any messages for the fans out there? We'd love to just give you the floor.
You know, you want people to be inspired, but when you're stuck at home and you're looking for things to do, now is a really good time to try out or practice or work towards that thing that you've always wanted to try. And there's so many times where, and I'm guilty of this too, like, I really, really want to do this, but I don't feel like I have enough time.
Right.
And I still, right now, I still don't have enough time because I'm just working regular. But for those who are kind of bored and are stuck at home looking for something to do, think about that thing that you wanted to do maybe when you were a little kid. You know, it's like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a blah, blah, blah. And then now you can be like, you know what, let me see about that. Let me see what it would take to do that. And, you know, just play around with it. I think now is a good time to like figure out, to try and play again, you know, to just play, you know. My mom's being really good at it. She loves puzzles and reading. So she's like the perfect, you know,
I love
sequester
that.
candidate.
I love to read. She's got more patience than I do for puzzles. I'll tell you what, those puzzles, they can drive me bananas sometimes. But that's still beautiful advice, Amanda. Great advice. Very inspirational to try and discover play again. I think that's fantastic. Amanda, that was so much fun. Thank you so much for being on our show today. That was fantastic.
Yay.
It was great. The rest of you out there, be sure to grab DC Comics, The Astonishing Art of Amanda Conner, on sale June 9th. And if you're curious about the HBO Max To The Max comics, there are so many ways to get them. They're on DC Universe, readdc.com, Comixology, Kindle, Madefire, Google Play, Hoopla, Overdrive, and Android. So go check them out. As for us, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.